Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Stroganoff. I'm Lilith.
And I am Eli.
Today we've got some more Isekai history, and we're talking about something a little more modern than last time. We're talking about The Devil is a Part-Timer. This series came out in spring 2013 by Studio White Fox, and I would say it's a pretty enjoyable series. Have you seen it, Eli?
It's been on my list, which is code for it maybe in 3 years.
Of course. So, with that in mind, I'll just run over a quick synopsis of the story for those who don't know what Devil's Part-Timer is.
Alright.
So basically, the demon lord Satan and his right hand LCL flee to Earth from a fantasy world after the hero and her party assault his, demonic castle. However, because Earth doesn't have a lot of magic or something, he's not able to use his magic to subjugate humanity in this alternate world. So he gets a job part-time working at McDonald's, which is McDonald's, as a cashier/fry cook. And he's barely able to make ends meet. And the hero followed him to Earth as well. And so she's working as a customer service representative for some phone company or something. In any case, there's a bit of action, a lot of hijinks, and it is technically an isekai. I just realized I should say that. It's a reverse isekai, which was weirdly popular directly after Sword Art Online was released. So unlike last episode of Isekai History, we're going to keep this pretty short. I already shortened the synopsis significantly. So I'll talk a little bit about possible influences on the show itself, and then I'll talk about stuff it might have influenced. And the problem with a lot of these really early isekais in the post-SAO era is that, well, there's not a lot for them to draw from, right? So,
yeah.
Really all I got is Familiar of Zero, which came out in 2006, Inuyasha from 2000, and the original Digimon Adventure in 1999. Suffice to say, those were all pretty old references by the time even the light novel was being written, which, for context, the light novel came out in 2011, very early 2011. So those influences that I just listed, those are tenuous at best. And really only Inuyasha and Digimon have the closest because they involve going to Earth at some point. Familiar of Zero is only relevant because
it's an isekai.
Well, just because the protagonist has no power when he gets isekai'd, and that's what happens in this, and it really doesn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah, from what I know of both the Familiar of Zero and Devil is a Part-Timer, I don't see that they're very...
Yeah. So now, for stuff that this might have influenced, complete speculation, for context, I don't think any of the stuff I'm about to say was influenced at all by this, but it was potentially influenced because of certain aspects of the plot, namely the isekai stuff coming to Earth, which would be Recreators from 2017 and Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka from 2019.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I didn't think that would ever come up again.
Remembering Spec Ops Asuka.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, those were very, very tenuous counts of influence. And also, they happened way after Devils a Part-Timer aired. So, even if you count, like, the original mangas and light novels and such, which actually Recreators is an anime original, if I remember correctly.
I believe you are remembering correctly.
But it's still a pretty big time gap. But then again, people are still being influenced by Evangelion at this point, so it's a toss-up, honestly. I'll freely admit that Devil's a Part-Timer, in terms of Isekai history, is a very small footnote. Partially because it did not become a prototype for any future subgenre of Isekai. And why do I keep picking, like, the most uninfluential Isekais to talk about on Isekai history?
Maybe it's your subconscious trying to say something to you.
What could it possibly be trying to say?
You watch way too many isekais?
You're not wrong. No, I read too many isekais. But that's a whole other story. In any case, let's talk a little bit about the light novel and the original creator of Devil is Part-Timer, because it's actually quite interesting. As I mentioned, Devil is Part-Timer starts off as a light novel in February 2011, written by Satoshi Wagahara. And so this was his first major work and his only major work. He has done 3 other light novels since then. Those were Diego no Kyojin in 2016.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Yusha no Segare in 2017.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't expect you to. I believe that one is technically an isekai. The first one is not an isekai. It's just a straight fantasy story. The second, I believe, is an isekai, maybe, but it's also got a weird, like, legacy plot going. It's weird. And then the last one is Dracula Yakin, ! In 2020. And other than that, there's been a ton of spin-offs and side stories for Devil is a Part-Timer. So this is this author's main cash cow, I guess. Or the only one that anybody cares about. And as far as I can tell, none of his other works have been translated into English as of right now. And of the other works, the most recent one, Dracula Yakin, is the most similar to Devil's a Part-Timer in that it features a fantastical character working a mundane job as a whatever. In Devil's a Part-Timer, it's fry cook / cashier. And then in Dracula Yakin, the main character is a vampire working the night shift at a convenience store. And in Dracula Yakin's case, it's not an isekai at all. It's basically took the premise for Devil's a Part-Timer and removed the fantasy world. It just made the world a fantasy world, as far as I can tell. And so that's the original light novel. So I think the last major thing about Devil's a Part-Timer to talk about would be the director, Naoto Hosoda, who's done quite a bit of work. Before working on Devil's a Part-Timer, he was director for Shuffle in 2005, working with Voice in 2010, and Future Diary in 2011.
Really?
Yes, I was very surprised. I did not expect to see Future Diary connected to Devil's a Part-Timer at all.
Fascinating.
I would love to do like a breakdown of the director's style now, with those two things in mind, but we only have so much time in the day. And so after Devil's a Part-Timer, he worked on In Search of the Lost Future in 2014, Juni Tyson, Zodiac War in 2017, and In 2020, he was the director as well as series composition and script for Magatsu Warheit Zurst, which was a pretty good series that I enjoyed, but it was ultimately just a advertisement for a mobile game, which was a damn shame.
Damn shame.
Regarding the director of Devil's a Part-Timer, he's kind of all over the place, honestly, because there's obviously really good stuff like Devil's a Part-Timer and Magatsu Warheit and Future Diary. And then you got like Junie Tyson, which nobody really cared about, even when it was airing. So, I honestly don't know what to say about the director, other than an interesting. Interesting. And I do not currently know if the director of Season 1 of Devil is a Part-Timer will be returning for the upcoming Season 2.
Yeah, that's something that completely blew my mind when I saw the notification. I saw it. I'm like, what is that? Show's getting a Season 2? That looks like Devil is a Part-Timer. That's not possible. The Devil's a Part-Timer is never getting a second season.
And yet, it is happening.
Which, this gives hope for all the shows that never got that one more season. For all the Spice and Wolves, for all the Girls Love Stories. I'm trying to think of shows that need more seasons that probably aren't going to get any.
Any number of harem anime from the mid to late 2000s. They probably don't deserve a second season, but they definitely want a second season. And did I mention that this series was done by White Fox?
You did mention it was done by White Fox.
I don't think I need to state why that's notable. Mostly because White Fox is all over the freaking place.
White Fox is the bane of our existence.
And also the greatest boon we've ever been given. Apparently. We've said this before, there is a 1-to-1 ratio of good and bad out of White Fox.
Yes.
And we don't know why. If you know of a series that White Fox has made that is not either pretty good to really, really good, or pretty bad to really, really bad, let us know, because you may be entitled to a reward. That reward will consist of a picture of a cat.
I'll probably throw some fan art from my pictures folder.
But you will get a reward.
They may just be memes.
It will probably just be memes, to be honest. In any case, yeah, Devil's a Part-Timer doesn't really have anything important to say in Isekai history. The show itself has important things to say, but we're talking about it in the context of history, not the context of what does this show talk about.
Yeah.
So, as much as I'd love to get into the way it satirizes and, or maybe just shows how drudging, and tedious and soul-sucking working part-time can be, we're not here to talk about that. We're just here to say, like, this is everything about this series. That's it. And that's all, folks. Do you have any comments, Elon?
I know that Devil is a Part-Timer isn't particularly significant in the grand scheme of things, like you said. I do believe. So when you were looking into this, did you see how like the guy went to jail for like not paying his taxes? Who wrote it?
No. Are you sure that's this? No, I'm pretty sure that's
either
Log
this
Horizon.
or it was Was it there? It's either Log Horizon, Devil's a Part-Timer, or Gate. It's one of those three. I think I said that in the Gate episode was that one. I was probably wrong, but there's about a 2/3 chance I was wrong.
We know that the gate guy is like a Japanese nationalist or whatever. So that's a mark against. I'm pretty sure it's the Log Horizon guy.
I think it actually might be the Log Horizon guy.
And that's why there was no season 3.
Well, until now.
Well, yeah. But yeah. That's it. Let us know what piece of Isekai history we should talk about next time on the Discord.
We have a Discord server.
Yes, we do. Link in the description. I've been Lilith.
And I have been Eli.
And this has been Anime Stroganoff.